Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at BellyUpSports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
Joao Felix is leaving Atletico Madrid and returning to Chelsea. Obviously, if you guys remember, Joao Felix, a very exciting young player from Portugal, had a really standout period at Benfica. Everyone claiming him to be the next Cristiano Ronaldo, the next great Portuguese player. And essentially, everyone was excited about the hype, and everybody was wondering where is he going to go after Benfica. He gets his big move to Atletico Madrid, and I think from there the pressure just came to him, and he didn't necessarily ever live up to that hype at Atletico Madrid. So much so that Atletico Madrid had to ship him out twice, back-to-back years actually. The first time was sending him out to Chelsea on loan. Did he have a great stint at Chelsea? Give or take. I don't know. It depends how you feel about that year for Chelsea. I think some people would say good things about Joao Felix, and some people would say negative things about Joao Felix. I didn't necessarily think it was anything particularly special. I think he helped with Chelsea to some extent, but I don't think that it was necessarily like, oh my God, this guy was impactful by any means. And then the following year, last season, they loaned him out to Barcelona, where it looked like he was actually starting to be the kid that everyone was hoping for, but then kind of got quiet in certain moments. I think he was dealing with some injuries as well. And of course, one of those where what were you thinking kind of moments, but I think was fitting to describe his feelings towards Atletico Madrid was when Barcelona did play Atletico Madrid. He scored goals, I believe, in both those matches. I know one match in particular, but I believe it was both those matches, and he celebrated. And obviously, that's the team you're currently under contract by. That's the team that if Barcelona can't find a way to keep you, you're going right back to Atletico Madrid. And so I think that a lot of Atletico Madrid fans at this point are just tired of this kid, that he has not lived up to his hype. He has not been the player that everyone hoped he would be. And unfortunately, Barcelona could not keep him. I believe Barcelona was actually trying to keep not only him, but also the other Joao. And obviously, if you once again, unless you live under a rock, then you should know that Barcelona has been going through financial struggles. So they just were not able to financially cover the fee that would have cost them to bring Joao Felix over to Barcelona, and so he was back with Atletico Madrid. From little that I saw from the preseason, it looked like he was doing fairly well with Atletico Madrid. So I think everybody was kind of hoping that this was like his make or break it season, where we're finally going to see the kid that everyone thought we were going to see. But I think there's just too much tension right now with Atletico Madrid and Joao Felix. It's clear that Joao Felix, at least from my perspective, does not want to be there. Obviously he's been loaned out back-to-back years. He's supposed to be this highly touted player, supposed to be the heir apparent to Cristiano Ronaldo, and he hasn't lived up to that hype yet. And I think, and I mean, you could say that his stint with Barcelona was one of his better years, and I would agree. But obviously, when you're in Atletico Madrid, you're hoping this guy shows out for your club, Atletico Madrid, and he hasn't. And so I think at this point they're just trying to get rid of him. They're trying to get rid of him. You just brought in Julian Alvarez. You're working on getting Conor McGregor, Conor McGallagher. And at this point they're just trying to move on. It's one of those that both parties just need to get out of this situation, and I think Joao Felix wasn't going to get any better. His time at it's interesting because I don't know what exactly was wrong with Atletico Madrid and Joao Felix. I think maybe it was a conflict of styles, but then like you see a guy like Antoine Griezmann and he, you know, makes the Atletico Madrid attack. And I feel like Joao Felix could have done that similar to it, but it just never worked. And I think more so or not it's just that we overhyped this kid. There's put a lot of pressure on him, and now he's one of those stories of, hey, you remember that guy? And I hope it's not the case because he's still very young. He still has plenty of time before he hits his prime. Um, but this kid needs a move. He needs to move away from Atletico Madrid, somewhere where he believes he can get developed. And I think that's probably what it was with this because Atletico Madrid ends up agreeing to a 6 year Joao Felix agrees to a 6 year deal to go to Chelsea. Obviously a club that he was loaned out to before. Uh, like I said, he just didn't live up to the hype. Um, but is he going into a better situation? I just don't know. Chelsea right now is there's a lot of shit going on with Chelsea. There's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, it hasn't been the same since Todd Bowley bought the team. Um, many fans are probably frustrated by that. And I mean, right now, Chelsea, I believe this is now Chelsea's 10th signing this summer. There obviously there's the stories that you hear that the locker room right now is packed, like that there's not even enough lockers for players. So I mean, there's players need to be sold over at Chelsea, and I believe that the at least the two players that I've heard a lot of was Chilwell and Raheem Sterling are names to keep an eye on that are going to potentially be sold. So, and I mean, they came off a big win against Wolves, which Joao Felix did contribute into that. So I think that at least if they trim out the fat at Chelsea, it could become a pretty healthy environment. Um, but he seems looking forward to being part of the project. Like I said, I mean, take the win against Wolves with a grain of salt because obviously it's Wolves, but it's a good team win. It's a good morale boost. Especially when you have to your first game is against Manchester City. So I think as they continue to progress, I believe they're also in the Europa Conference League. See how they perform in that tournament. But right now, it's all about getting confidence back. Clean out as much as you can in that locker room if you're Chelsea. Um, but I mean, if Chelsea believes that Joao Felix is a missing piece to the team, and I believe what Enzo, the manager for Chelsea, I believe he was saying that he sees Joao Felix as a nine. So I think that that's a interesting concept to where to put Joao Felix. Um, but yeah, I think Joao Felix is just a player that needs a new fresh start. Maybe not necessarily fresh, but like just go somewhere where he feels he's going to get supported. A lot of Chelsea fans are happy that he's coming back. So I think that maybe obviously people see his quality. I know he still has the potential, and I think that that's the big thing for me. That this kid I don't want to say he's a bust yet. I think that he's still very young. I think he could still do what we hope that he was do from the hype that we built up from him when he was in Benfica. I think we saw glimpses of it when he was at Barcelona. I think if he can stay healthy, if he can continue to be hungry, he is going to be a very solid player for Portugal. And so, Portugal, it's getting deeper over there in Portugal, with some of the players, especially in the front in the attacking side. So I think Joao Felix has a lot to put on, has to do a lot to get himself in that discussion as well. I think Chelsea is an interesting situation because of just how many players are over there now. But hey, I mean, they bought so many players, it's got to pan out at some point. So I'm very interested to see what happens with Joao Felix now. And remember, I said Chelsea was my team to watch this season in the Premier League, and I'm standing by it. So this just makes them even more interesting to watch, see how they move on from the last couple years, and see if they can get a positive season this year in the Premier League. So I can't wait to see it for Joao Felix. I'm rooting for Joao Felix. Joao Felix is a player that I generally do like watching play. Um, and I want him to do well. So, regardless of where he plays at, and so we'll see how Joao Felix does over there in Chelsea in his second stint at Chelsea. So, and I mean, it's not a loan. From what I've read, it's a permanent move. So, you know, his time at Atletico Madrid has passed, and I think that's a good thing.